Okay, so today I'm going to be talking about the Bears and the Eagles game. The Eagles won 16-15. This came after Cody Parkey missed a field goal, which was tipped by one of the Eagles defensive linemen that hit the upright and then managed to hit the goal post again and still managed to miss it. But besides this, the Bears easily could have won the game, and I think the Bears hurt themselves in multiple situations in this game, and they ended up losing it. The Bears could have won this game, if they got that 2-point conversion with Taylor Gabriel coming out on the reverse, but they didn't get it. And then they could have also stopped Golden Tate on the fourth down in the red zone and to win the game, but they didn't. And then also the Bears, too, did not play Eddie Jackson. Eddie Jackson, the starting safety for the Chicago Bears, was active in this game. He was dressed on the sidelines. They activated him with an ankle injury, but he sat on the sideline the whole game. He did not come in the game whatsoever, and he sat on the sideline even during the fourth quarter when they knew the Eagles were going to pass it because the Bears were up in the fourth quarter. I think the Bears really hurt themselves here because with them playing Eddie Jackson, they would have probably put Amos down in the box, and Amos could have covered Zach Ertz or helped cover in the flats against the Eagles. Or Eddie Jackson could have, helped cover Zach Ertz. Either way, they like to move around their safeties and multiple different positions. But either way, if Eddie Jackson was on the field, it would have made a great impact for the Bears, as he is probably the best safety in the NFL. But the Bears chose to keep him on the sideline. I really think the Bears in this game just kind of hurt themselves. They really missed Bryce Callahan in the slot. That was pretty obvious as Golden Tate went off this game. I mean, he did everything. He caught so many passes. He was reliable for them. Really helped them win this game. But, injuries happen. And unfortunately, the Eagles suffered a lot of injuries this season, but yet they still managed to win the game. The Bears couldn't fight through it, and the Bears really hurt themselves. And, it sucks for Bears fans, but, you got to be smarter than that. You can't, why would you activate your best safety, probably one of the best players on your team, but not play him? That is pretty stupid on the Bears' part. I don't understand it, why they would do that whatsoever. If they were worried about his injury, why even dress him? It makes no sense whatsoever. If they think he's healthy to go, okay, cool. Well, then let him play the game. If you don't, okay, don't dress him. I really don't understand it. Stupid decision on the Bears' part. But let's talk about the Eagles now. Man, Nick Foles. Nick Foles is the guy. That's all I have to say. Nick Foles has only lost 2 games since starting as a quarterback for the Philadelphia Eagles since 2017. 2 games. Those 2 games was one game against the Cowboys last season, which was the very last game of the year, which they really didn't care about. They were resting most of their players for the playoffs anyways, because they already had the first round bye and home field advantage throughout the playoffs, so they were really just sitting all their starters. And then the other game was against the Buccaneers when Ryan Fitzpatrick was going off at the start of the season and playing phenomenal, and that Bucs offense was really clicking. Those are the only 2 games Nick Foles has lost as a starter for the Eagles since starting. All the other games, he has won. So, I just think Carson Wentz is not played as well as Nick Foles. I really think that Carson Wentz has also been really injury prone too. He's never played a full season. He missed a couple games his rookie year. He tore his ACL last year, and then this year he's dealing with a back problem. I really think the Eagles really have to look into Carson Wentz. Really have to look into Nick Foles going into next year as maybe the starting quarterback. I hate to say it because, they did spend the second overall pick on Carson Wentz. They gave up so much draft picks for him. But, Nick Foles, to me, personally, I think he's the better quarterback. He looks like the better quarterback. There's something about him when he's playing for the Eagles than when Carson Wentz is playing for the Eagles. I mean, really, there's just something different about Nick Foles. And I mean, before Nick Foles came in, everyone thought the Eagles season was over. Like, people, were thinking, man, the Eagles season's over. They're done for. They're probably not going to make the playoffs. But then all of a sudden, Nick Foles comes in because Carson Wentz is dealing with a back problem. And then they win the next 3 games, and they look phenomenal. I mean, Nick Foles is really, really. I think he's the guy in Philadelphia. I think he has to be the starting quarterback for the Philadelphia Eagles next year, and that's my opinion. I mean, I don't think Carson Wentz could have won this game against the Bears. I don't think Carson Wentz could have won against the Texans. I mean, it's just Nick Foles. It's something special about Nick Foles when he's in that Philadelphia Eagles offense. There's something about him. But I mean, the Eagles did do a good job. They struggled to run the football. Their receivers did manage to get open against the Bears corners. Zach Ertz also did manage to get open and take advantage of some of his matchups. I mean, Nick Foles did not play that great in this game, but then again, he was going up against one of the best defenses, and he also had no run game, so it's kind of, the pass was kind of obvious. But the fourth quarter, I mean, he was amazing. He did come back and help win the game for them. And man, the Eagles. Well, this is one thing for sure. I think the Eagles do have a problem at quarterback now because, I mean, they're going to have to figure out who's going to be the starting quarterback. I mean, I know they're probably going to stick with Carson Wentz, but I think they're going to make the wrong decision. But either way, the Eagles are expected to franchise tag Nick Foles at the end of this season, and they might get a good trade out of him. I mean, last year, some team reportedly offered a second-round pick for Nick Foles. I think this year, the Eagles franchise him. They could probably get a first-round pick out of a team. I mean, Washington, with Kirk Cousins gone, he broke his leg pretty bad against J.J. Watt, but I don't think the Eagles would trade Nick Foles to him. But I mean, maybe the Dolphins, a team out there looking for a quarterback. I mean, I think a team would give up a first-round pick for Nick Foles, especially if they win this game next week against the Saints. But that's just me personally, and they're not playing the Saints, they're playing the Rams. If he can win against the Rams too, which he did in the regular season, but that's just my takeaway from all this. I really think that Nick Foles is a better quarterback than Carson Wentz. I really think the Bears hurt themselves, and that's really all I have to say about this game. I mean, it's unfortunate for Bears fans. I picked the Bears to win the Super Bowl because I believed in that defense. I believed in that coaching staff. And if it wasn't for the missed kick, or blocked kick, I guess, because the person did block it, I think they probably would have made it to the Super Bowl. But, I mean, the Eagles did everything they could have to win the game, and they won the game. So, it sucks for Bears fans, great for Philadelphia fans, and the legend of Nick Foles still lives on. And who knows, the Eagles could win another Super Bowl, and then, the Eagles are going to have a really big problem. But I don't know how likely that is, but he could do it because they are in the playoffs. But that's just what I think. Personally, Nick Foles should be the guy going into next year, and the Bears hurt themselves. So that's all I got to say.